Hi, this is Josh Clark with this week's episode of Be Your Best. Today I want to talk about the art of listening. Yes, listening. And which I believe is the number one key to success in not only business, but also, and even more importantly, relationships such as marriage. And in the beginning, I want to talk about the context of business, then we'll move to relationships, or to be totally honest, I am still really working on this one. In fact, I'm going to share with you a challenge that I'm taking this month that I'm going to invite you to join me. But first, business. When I was 18 years old, I started a business selling a product that I really genuinely and even passionately believed in because I watched the product really completely turned my mother's health around after suffering from missing several organs, and she had 10 children. And so being really passionate about this, after 40 years of already telling people about it, I started selling it. Now the problem is, it didn't matter how good my intentions were, I would vomit all over everybody. And oftentimes I wouldn't even discover a need, and if I did discover the need, I wouldn't ask questions and be patient to learn more about that need. I would immediately jump in trying to fix the problem. And in the process, I wasn't enjoying it. In fact, not at all. And the people I was talking to, let me tell you, they hated it. In fact, they would draw back and you could just see them just backing away. And I remember thinking, I don't want to feel like a salesperson. And well, thankfully, I didn't quit though, and I had some success. In fact, I won a trip to a leadership conference in Napa Valley. Something happened there. Something struck a chord to the point that on the plane ride back, I had an epiphany. And it struck me that if I were to apply the same listening skills that I had developed in talking to older people, you see, as a teenager, even though I was a motor mouth, when I would talk to someone older, for some reason, I had learned the skill of asking questions because I was fascinated being around older people, learning from them, asking questions, learning about their successes, their failures, learning history. And I thought, what if I applied that to my business? What if I just genuinely learned to just enjoy, which I already did, people, getting to know them, asking questions, discovering about their careers, their family, and if I discovered a need, then I would be patient. I would just continue to ask questions. Really, what do you mean by that? Tell me more about that. Have you ever tried anything? Has anything helped? Have you ever tried a natural solution? At which point they might ask me, no, why do you ask? Or if they didn't, then I would ask a question. I would say, if I knew a solution that might help you, would you be interested? And what do you think they said? 9 times out of 10, they'd say yes. You see, because I first showed that I truly cared. And it was actually fun. It wasn't even work at all. And in the course, I would make a friend regardless of whether I gained a client. Well, let me tell you, I'm embarrassed to say I've been slower at learning to apply this to relationships in the context of marriage and being a dad. In fact, this past week, though, I was encouraged. I was listening to a sermon by my pastor, Chip Ingram, and he shared with us how over the course of decades, he had applied a practical skill where he would sit down with his wife and they would do it at least, I think, twice a week. I'm going to do it once a week, but at least. But he would sit down with his wife, look her in the eye, and he asked 3 questions. Number 1, what are you concerned about? And then he would just put duct tape over his mouth and intently listen. And then the second question is, what do you wish? And then he just listened to her. You see, let me tell you, as men, and men and women, we can do this. We like to jump in and try to fix the problem. But let me be honest, it's worse than that. Oftentimes, I'll make excuses. My wife might say, well, I wish we had more time together. Or I wish that you'd get home from the office earlier. I wish you'd make dinner on time more often. And oftentimes, I'm embarrassed to say, I'll just make excuses. And I'll say, well, I made it earlier this week, or we had church small group, and we had this and we had that, and we had a conference, and instead of just showing her that I'm listening, instead of giving myself a chance to receive what I need to receive, I would jump right in, either offer a solution or make an excuse too often. And so my challenge for myself this month is I'm going to just zip it, and I'm going to truly listen. And then there is a third question. I got to tell you, I like this because I like taking action. I like fixing things. And so the third is going to be, what are you willing to do? But you see that it's in the context of what are you willing to do? And so it allows me to ask her. Because, it's just like in counseling. oftentimes people know what the solution is rather than us telling them. If we were to say, what are you willing to do? Then they will offer the solution. And even in business, at that point, we can ask, what are you willing to do about it? And then we can say, if I knew of a solution. And I tell you, I'm really excited about applying this in the context of my marriage and doing a better job. And I want to invite you to join me, and we can do this together over the next month. And then I want to share with you 2 verses that have really encouraged me. One is Proverbs 18:13. It says, he who answers a matter before he hears it is both a folly and a shame. Isn't that true? And the second verse is James 1:19. It says, so then, my beloved brethren, be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. And now if this video has encouraged you, I want to ask you, will you take a moment and just share this with your friends and family and post it on social media? And together we can be a catalyst to not only change our life, but also be an encouragement to others around us, and one person at a time. Now let's go out there and make an awesome week as we apply the art of listening. God bless.